Hey, everyone. Andy Hall here. Started out a little bit later than I usually do. And a little bit later is just like maybe 30 seconds later. But for me, I feel like that's later. Later than I'd like. So let's do something funny. And I'll tell you why I'm a little bit later than usual is because I was working on a rough draft of a new short I'm dropping later on today, and I thought I would share it with you later on in the show. But that's later. Let's do now. Now?
Someone messaged me once, and on their profile it said verbatim, "No feminine guys, fat people, Asians, or blacks." Which is crazy. I'm like, is this a dating app or Montana's state motto?
All right. Maybe that's not fair to Montana. But there's a truth there. There's a truth being said there, I think. I hope everyone's doing well today. Yo, Rage. How you doing, Digital Bookworm? Derek Cruz, Jess M. It's good to see you all here. Let me show you. I don't have the morning question prepared because I've been working on this video short. And I guess we're going to go from one short to another short before wading into the news stories. News stories like, is Texas a failed state? I guess there's a debate about that. And here's the thing. If you got to ask if Texas is a failed state, smart money is on the fact that Texas is a failed state. Getting ahead of myself once again. Well, instead of doing the question, I'm going to show the video. I decided I'm going to show you the video, the rough draft of a very short video, 60 seconds, about the Satanic Panic and the book that started the Satanic Panic. You may think that that's the Bible. Yes and no. But the book, I'm going to let Lucian Greaves, co-founder of the Satanic Temple, explain it all.
Michelle Remembers is a book that came out in 1980 and is credited with kicking off the Satanic Panic. It was supposed to be the true story of the recovered memories of one Michelle Smith, who went to a Catholic psychiatrist and under hypnosis recalled these elaborate, detailed stories of being abused by a satanic cult that her family belonged to. And this story was taken seriously by daytime talk shows. They went on Oprah, they went on other high-profile shows, despite the fact that it's a supernatural horror tale. It doesn't end with the idea that there's some kind of Satanist doing depraved things in the secular world. There's Satan himself makes an appearance in this book. Saint Michael comes and drives him off. Jesus descends from the heavens and removes your scars from her.
All right, so once again, these are these very short videos, less than 60 seconds long. That's a rough draft. That is a draft. I'll probably tweak it a little bit more, but I thought I would share that with you, and that's why I don't have my set list ready. That's why I don't, my hair is still soaking wet, but I thought I would share that with you, my latest project that's going to be dropping later on today. Of course, that conversation is a very small snippet out of an hour-long conversation I had with Lucian and a bunch of other Satanists that we did last Sunday, and you can find that on the channel. All right. Good morning, Imaginary God, and David Paul. Hello. Good afternoon, and always pleasure to see you, Brain Bug, of course, and James Henry. All right. So what did we do? We covered one funny video, one serious video, a little educational about that book, Michelle Remembers. And now we're going to slide our way into some fun. Let's check out what we have. I found this comical. Maybe you will too. We'll take a look. The punishment. That's what it is. Just punishment. They could have handled this better. Womp, womp, womp. There you go. They could have handled that better, to tell you the truth. They could have handled that better. They could have handled that a lot better. The second one shows two iconic characters in battle over the soul of the country in some ways. Let's take a look at this one. Come on, you don't need a union. If you keep working hard and put the company's interests before your own, then the company will share its prosperity with you. And there is Lucy with the boss, who is, of course, representing the bosses, Charlie Brown as the workers. We all know the story, right? Lucy always takes the football away from Charlie Brown just as he's about to kick it. And all right, I don't want to bring up National Socialism this early. We're not even 6 minutes into the show. But the idea or this myth that bosses, that companies will share fairly with their workers, their profits, sounds a little bit like work will make you free, right? Arbeit, free, I don't know, that thing that we've all seen, probably that picture on Ash Weds as you're walking into the camp. It's work will make you free. I feel that this summation, this comical summation of capitalism, or late stage capitalism, seems to be in that whole work will make you free myth that a lot of companies wanted, that Amazon in particular right now, right? Amazon wants to let you know that if you just go along to get along, then don't worry. You don't need a union. We'll take care of you. Digital bookworm. I feel trickled down upon. There's a urination joke there, isn't it? Very well done. Well done. 10 points. 10 points for digital bookworm. The woman's name from the short video was named Michelle Smith. She is the person who stated under hypnosis that she had been sexually abused by Satanists and the devil and all of that. So it's Michelle Smith. You can find Michelle Remembers on Amazon. Thank you. See, there's always smarter people and know this stuff. Phil Lister, Arbeit macht free. There you go. So that's what this is, basically. This is just Arbeit macht free. I threw a couple of in there, possibly inappropriately, but that's what this is. And when you think about it like that, it seems like we're all working in the camps in some way. Wow, way to bring the party down, Andy Hall. Nice, nice. All right, so let's go to the last one. Now, this last joke, and this is one of mine. This is one of my jokes. I'm sure most of us have heard that verse or read that verse in Joshua. As for me, my house, as for us, my house will serve the Lord. That's basically it. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. And of course, the Lord is all in capital letters. And you may have seen this on t-shirts. I have seen this on t-shirts. I've seen this on swag. And if anyone knows anything about the book of Joshua, it is a horrendous book. It is an immoral book. It is a book of genocide. It's a book of ethnic cleansing. It's a book of animal abuse. Why did Joshua and the ancient Israelites have to kill animals, livestock of the captured Canaanite cities? I don't know. It's what God wanted. So I spun this biblical verse and turned it into this. As for me and my house, we will serve tacos. And yes, you could actually buy this. I have a link down in it's a whole bunch of swag. You know, I don't promote my own swag that often, but I thought this was really clever. I thought of it last night. And I thought, wow, as for me and my house, we will serve tacos. And, you know, when you think about it, tacos aren't going to kill you. Aren't going to kill you. They're not going to send you to hell. They're not going to tell you to go kill your neighbors. They're not going to tell you to go take their land. Tacos are far more moral than Yahweh, far more moral than God, Jesus, the Holy Spirit. And that's why I can speak for me and my house, we will serve tacos. Maybe on Tuesdays. All right. Fry, not free. Thank you, Phil Lister. You don't hear much about protecting the job creators any much more from the GQB. I do like the GQB, the Grand QAnon Party, indeed. And that's right. God enjoys watching people suffer, but he has your best interests at heart, and he wants money, as George Carlin would tag that line. All right, so that's our 3 jokes right there. What are we doing for news stories? Once again, I was working on that short about the Satanic Panic with Lucian Greaves, and I'm just going to look and see what the first story is. This is going to be a surprise. Of course, I've read through all the stories, but I don't really know which story is the first story I put in order. So this is going to be an adventure for me as well as you. First story is, son of prominent conservative activist charged in Capitol riot. I know that you're shocked. I know that you're shocked that the son of a prominent conservative activist is charged in the Capitol riot. I was shocked too. Now, even if you didn't know, I'm going to show you the picture of this guy. Even if you didn't know he was the son of a conservative activist, even if you didn't know that he was a rioter, would you not agree with me, ladies and gentlemen in the chat, who are watching now, watching later, that this guy just kind of exudes de-baggishness? Just kind of, you can get the idea about who this guy is in the world very quickly. So this is the picture of the son of this conservative activist. Now, I think the main sin is just putting those glasses right above the visor of the baseball cap. If there was a universal sign of squirreliness, that's at least a sign. And of course, he does have a T-shirt of a Christian private school too on him, an American flag bandana around his neck, probably not used to fight COVID, but just to hide his identity. Maybe, possibly, I'm not sure. But between the sunglasses on the visor and the Christian hoodie, the Christian school hoodie, that would be virtue. That's virtue signaling in my books. That's virtue signaling to the non-virtuous about who he is and what tribe he belongs to. Let's read about this guy. Let's read about him. Leo Brent Boswell IV. So, of course, this guy's the 4th, right? So obviously this guy's the 4th. And so he probably comes from and we already know he's the son of a conservative activist. So he comes from a long line of horrible people. Leo Brent Boswell IV, the son of a prominent conservative activist and media critic, has been charged for his alleged involvement in the Capitol insurrection. In an affidavit filed in the case, which remained under seal until Tuesday, an FBI special agent stated that Boswell can be seen in footage inside the Capitol during the rioting on January 6th, including for a period of time on the floor of the U.S. Senate. At one point, Boswell allegedly went to the Senate gallery and, quote, moved a camera so that the camera was pointing down to the ground of the balcony area. This was done as protesters began to enter the main floor of the U.S. Senate. By pointing the camera to the ground, the camera was unable to record protesters entering the main floor of the U.S. Senate chamber. Oh, he is so clever. So clever. His father, Leo Brent Boswell III, is the founder and president of nonprofit Media Research Center, which describes its mission as to expose and neutralize the propaganda arm of the left national news media. So his dad's a fascist. His dad runs some kind of Goebbels-esque. I don't think that's a word really, but I'm going to make it a word right now. Goebbels-esque propaganda arm for conservatives, for the Republican Party. The organization runs the Newsbusters website. Well, if you're gonna make propaganda, you might as well call your organization Newsbusters, because you're not calling yourself fake news. You might as well call yourself Newsbusters. All right, Newsbusters. Where was I? Which frequently accuses mainstream media organizations, including NPR, of liberal bias. Liberal bias means looking at facts and stuff. On the day of the Capitol insurrection, the elder Basel said on Fox Business that he condemned violence, but said, "This is an explosion of pent-up outrage from Middle America. They are furious that they believe the election was stolen," he said, and I agree with him. So this is an interesting sentence, right? This is an interesting sentence, which really, what does this mean? They are furious that they believe this election was stolen. Are they furious at themselves that they believe that the election was stolen? Is that what he's trying to say? I don't think so. I think he's trying to weasel his words around to say that kind of, sort of, yeah, maybe it wasn't right, but I totally agree with him. They are furious that they believe this election was stolen, he added. I agree with them. The case against the younger Basel began after FBI received tips from 3 individuals. Those tipsters identified Basel from videos of rioters inside the Capitol on January 6th, in part because of the blue sweatshirt Basel was apparently wearing, which included the logo for Hershey Christian Academy, a private school in Pennsylvania. The school describes itself as a small Christian-centered school and teaches preschool through the 10th grade, according to its website. And first, I just want to say good job to those who narked on him, or who dimed on him. Good job to those who dimed on him. And the school itself doesn't want anything to do with this dude. One witness allegedly told the FBI that Basel has children who attended the school and was also its former girls basketball coach. And was also its former girls basketball coach. So what's the over-under on this guy's a pervert? What's the over-under that this strict conservative, this godly man is a pervert? I wouldn't bet money against it. I would not bet money against it. Witnesses say he goes by the nickname Zeker. Very nice. In January, before Basel was officially identified, the school said on Facebook, "Please understand that the person depicted in the photographs is not a board member, employee, or representative of Hershey Christian Academy." So they do not want anything officially to do with this guy, Zeker. So this is Zeker. He's the son, Zeker the third. No, I think he's Zeker the fourth, to tell you the truth. If we're going to give his official title, this is Zeker the fourth, and he coaches the girls' basketball team at the Christian Academy. Not creepy at all. Not creepy at all. All right. Totally a pervert, Jess M. Yeah. I have to tell you something. I never heard of, I was hanging out with a few female friends of mine. This is years ago. And we were hanging out at the bar. This is before the bad times, before COVID. And one of them, was getting eyed by a guy, and she said, that guy, he looks date rapey. It's like, date rapey? Yeah, you know what that means, Andy. It's like, I never heard that term before. But that guy, maybe, possibly, maybe he has a look. He has that look. He has the look. Imaginary God. Funny how he turned out to be the exact same religion as Daddy. How does that happen? Well, he was lucky enough. I'm glad that you asked this, imaginary God. He was lucky enough to be born into the one true faith. Just like millions, hundreds of millions of Muslims, Buddhists, Hindus, they were all lucky enough to be born into the one true faith. Oh, man. He was a minor God. Actually, Jason Folks has come on the show, who does Dragons in Genesis podcast. And he's discussed the relationship between Yahweh and El, and how those two Canaanite gods fused into one crazy deity that we just call God these days. An imaginary God, bringing it back, and there will be taco trucks in every corner. I could live. Why can't God just make those kind of edicts? Why can't he just make those kind of edicts? He's got the look, James Henry. That's what I say. He's got the look. And Zeker, what a clown. I'm just saying he has a look. He has a look and he has a vibe. He has a look and he has a vibe. And you know, the best thing you can probably say about him, it isn't just the fact because he teaches girls sports. It's the idea that he is a religious conservative who is out there waving his symbolic phallus around, telling people about how bad they are. And those type of people are typically the worst people in the whole wide world. It isn't just because they harbor horrible political views and horrible moral views. Okay, maybe it is. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. But I'm definitely not inferring he's a pervert just because of that. He has a whole aesthetic in his personality that seems to be pointing towards kind of pervy. All right. Let's go to the next shot. What do we got? Should we go to, it's Ash Wednesday, everyone. It's Ash Wednesday. I hope you're all going to getting your ashes to, put on your foreheads. But what are the Irish doing? What are the Irish doing? They're on lockdown. I'm glad that you asked. This is a little bit of international news here. My friend, John Hamill, he's been on the channel a couple of times. He's the co-host of the Free Thought Profit podcast. I saw him post this story on the Twitters. And so the Irish Church, the Republic of Ireland, they're having some problems with COVID-19, but it's Ash Wednesday. How are people going to get their ashes? And I'm glad that you asked that, because God has found a way, or at least the Catholic Church has found a way in Ireland. Take cold ashes from the fire grate. Varying approaches to Ash Wednesday in dioceses and parishes around Ireland. Yes, you can take cold ashes from the fire grate. Links to the description below. Let's take a look at this intriguing story. There will be no ash drive-thrus organized for Ash Wednesday, but some parishes are handing out packets of ashes for people to use at home as a workaround. One priest said that the drive-thrus would be hard to reconcile with level 5 restrictions, which deems only essential journeys can be made at the moment. You may ask me, well, they're giving out, let's go, before I show you the image of the packets that some dioceses are handing out. Let's go with the rest of the story. However, many parishes are making individual sealable packets of ashes available to the faithful to enable them to participate at home. The V. Rev. John Carroll of the Diocese of Ferns. See, I was going to do this in my Irish accent, but I forgot all about it, so you'll have to forgive me. Wexford said that the plastic packets will be available at Barntown and Glen churches today for collection. It is vitally important. Vitally important? It is vitally important that packets be kept for you. Own house or bubble only. You are asked not to share the contents beyond these confines. Bags will be made available for collection in a COVID compliant manner. So at least they're trying to be responsible. They're trying to tell people, hey, you can take your packet of ashes and use them on yourself and maybe people within your own pod, but don't share the ashes. So what I'm sure you're all asking, what do these packets look like? Do they have magic words on them that you can say as you put the ashes on your forehead? I'm glad you asked, because yes, there are magic words on these packets. Let's take a look. This is from the Diocese of Cork and Ross. They're blessed ashes. And here are the magic words. God our Father, as we begin our Lenten journey, open our hearts to you and your gospel message as we place these blessed ashes on our foreheads and pray, repent, and believe in the gospel. Yeah, so there you go. Those are the magic words. They have the magic ashes, and they have the magic words on the magic packets that have the magic. It's all magic. It's all magic. Literally pixie dust, but it's ashes. I cannot speak to the whether or not every house in Ireland has a fireplace or heating stove. I'm not aware. Though, I do remember a therapist telling me never use the words all, every, because that's can be, you misjudge people that way. But that's just a personal thing. Maybe they do all have a fireplace or heating stove. Can I go pick up a bag and not do a drive-through? I'm not sure. There's a whole link in the description down there. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Well, they are burnt offerings, the Trustee 8 podcast. Supposedly the ashes on Ash Wednesday are from what? Burnt palms. So when you get your ashes, the ashes are supposed to be, from what I understand of the ritual, burnt palms from like palms, with the whole symbology of Palm Sunday and everything. Just imaginary God. I saw what you did there. Just change it to Stash Wednesday. Indeed. Stash Wednesday. All right. Can we use the ashes, Brainbug? Can we use the ashes from the urn on the mantle? Sure. Oh, I don't know. You might go to Hades, or into you may not go into heaven if you do that, Brainbug. If you don't use the magic ashes the proper way, if you don't use the ashes the proper way, and if you're just tuning in, we just talked about how the Irish Church in the Republic of Ireland has figured out how to work around the fact that they're under level 5 COVID restrictions, but how can you still do Ash Wednesday? We also just went over the story about one of the Capitol rioters who've been identified as a son of a prominent conservative activist. Brain bug. Smear grandma all over our faces. That sounds like that could go sideways in weird ways. All right, everyone. We're about halfway through the show. I know it's hard to believe we're halfway through the show. We should do something funny. This is our halftime show. We're about halfway through, and let's do something funny. So yeah, that was my comedy bit that I dropped yesterday. That was my comedy short. Did I really eat the Thin Mints in the sandwich? Yes, I did. I thought they were fairly tasty. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not a big fan of mints in general. I'm a big fan of the Girl Scouts. Unlike the Boy Scouts here in the United States of America, the Girl Scouts are not tied to churches. They're not tied to religious institutions, and that makes them less a-holy, I guess we'll just call it that. That makes them non-homophobic. That makes them much more liberal than the Boy Scouts here in the States. All right. Let's go back to you've got the fish heads and the peanut butter. Well, yeah, fish heads, yummy fish heads. I forgot that song. I haven't thought of that song for years until now. Well, I thought about using other and mind you, I'm a big advocate. We just got a big box. It's Girl Scout cookie season, and I don't make any money by plugging Girl Scouts. Wow, that sounds rad. Let me rephrase this. I don't make any money promoting Girl Scout cookies. So, but we support the organization here. They're a decent organization, and so I could have chosen a variety of different Girl Scout cookies because we had boxes of them here in the house, which didn't help my weight whatsoever, but they were delicious. I like the pinwheels. the pinwheels, and those chocolate peanut butter cookie ones. Oh, I love those. Well, AA on fire from downtown. Well, churches prefer little boys. Well said. Well said. Digital bookworm. I thought they were Oreos. Mints are okay. Yeah, and the thing is, they're thin mints too. So by the name Thin Mints, you just assume that they're a little bit healthier, maybe because they're thin. I don't know. So I had fun. I had fun making that short. I made it short, I think, for a week, and that does bring in new people into the channel, and some people discover whatever we do here. Some people do discover us by me making these shorts. Blazing, good to see you. The perfect sandwich is to smear the bread with HP sauce. Oh, HP sauce. Marmite, I have not had experience with Marmite. Topped with, I don't even know what the Sharmstrong, yeah, I have no idea what a lot of that is. I've heard of Marmite. I have not heard of Surstrumming and Balut. I don't even know what those things are. I'm not going to lie to you. Yes, Girl Scout cookies. The way that they make money, or they bring in money for the Girl Scouts, one of their, you get arrested. I know, as soon as I said it, imaginary God, as soon as I said it, unintentional there. These are Girl Scouts here. There's Girl Scouts, and then there are brownies for younger girls. Unlike the Boy Scouts here in the States, the Girl Scouts, I think they're doing pretty well in terms of membership, as against the Boy Scouts, which have been hemorrhaging members for quite a while. Okay, so this is our educational part of the show. Blazing is offering us, I'm not going to try to pronounce that either. It's a rotten Swedish fish in a can, and balut is fertilized duck egg boiled after 12 to 14 days of maturing. Wow. If the Scots had that, they would probably try to fit it into a haggis or make it into a haggis-like roll. Wow, that sounds brutal. That sounds brutal right there. Completely sidetracked. Whatever I was thinking about, that is brutal. Oh, you've had both, huh? I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sure the surgery went well, though. You're still with us. So, all right, everyone. Is Texas a failed state? Then let's get back to seriousness here. Is Texas a failed state? It has 18% of its population. They don't have health insurance as comparison to 8% in California. We talked about this the other day. And they've been having, it turns out that they're not doing too well with electricity, in part because of the decisions made by the Texas government, the state government. Almost as bad as that. But Beto O'Rourke went on MSNBC to talk about the possibility that Texas is becoming a failed state, especially since people don't have electricity. And it isn't because solely of wires being taken down. They are just lacking capacity. But I'm going to let Beto O'Rourke, I'm going to share the screen here. Yes, those with, digital bookworm. Yes, the people in Texas that do have heat, their bills have skyrocketed, and the company has told them that, guess what? Your bills are going to be higher for quite a while, too. It isn't just a temporary thing. And that's partly due to privatization. But I'm going to let someone, no regulation. This is what happens when you don't have regulation. Your state, your country, your city will fall into poverty. They'll just be like what Texas is right now. But let's just go to Beto O'Rourke. Going to share this. Going to do that.
Because I've been seeing lots of very upsetting and desperate messages from your fellow Texans in the last 24, 36 hours.
It's worse than you are hearing from everything that I've learned from reaching out to the people that I've met across the 254 counties of Texas. Folks have gone days now without electricity or water at their homes. They're huddling together in their in-laws' homes, or they're going to the library, which is on generator power, or they're going to the Civic Center, which has been converted into a warming center, at least as long as there is capacity for more people to get there. Folks are very desperate. They're suffering. And as you know, far too many have died already. And I worry what's going to happen over the next 24 hours. Almost every major city in Texas tonight will see sub-freezing temperatures, and many of them will not have electricity or power, or in many instances, water. And as I think you pointed out in your opening, so much of this was avoidable. Going back to the deregulation of our electricity grid here in Texas, which has created an incentive to actually not weatherize or protect against these events, so that some of your plants can be shut down and you can profit from the spiking prices for energy and electricity. And then you have the cascading consequences of these stupid culture battles that are led by the GOP and our governor, Greg Abbott, who's focusing on making Texas a sanctuary state for the NRA, or they're arguing with the Mavericks about playing the Star Spangled Banner at the beginning of their games, or bathroom bills, or other kinds of stupidity, while we have very real emergencies, like a pandemic that has killed more than 40,000 of our fellow Texans, a botched rollout of the vaccine where folks don't know how to get on the list, this recession that has put millions out of work, and now this. The energy capital of North America cannot provide the energy needed to warm and power people's homes in this great state. We are nearing a failed state in Texas, and it has nothing to do with God or natural disasters. It has everything to do with the leadership and those in positions of public trust who have failed us.
Yeah, that point you just made. I mean, I pay a lot of attention to Texas politics because I think it's just fascinating. It's such a great state with such great people, and the politics are fascinating. And I was watching over the past week the chorus of people who were laser focused on Mark Cuban, the Dallas Mavericks, and whether they were playing the Star Spangled Banner. That includes Dan Patrick. I think Ken Paxton had something to do. This tweet to Greg Abbott. For your lack of oversight, vision, investment, and planning with Texas power grid ERCOT, but hey, let's make a Texas law to force Mark Cuban's basketball team to sing the national anthem. Priorities. I mean, obviously people can walk and chew gum, but it does seem like, there are way bigger issues for the state of Texas right now, particularly amidst this emergency and even in the medium term.
Yeah, look at Governor Abbott's State of the State speech, which he gave within the last few weeks. He listed 5 top priorities. In them are election fraud, given the fact that we have the safest, most secure elections in American history. There really is no election fraud concern in Texas, certainly not a top 5 priority. You had this effort to make Texas a gun sanctuary state. Nowhere mentioned in those top 5 priorities was COVID or the vaccination rollout or the need to protect our fellow Texans against natural disasters like these. As you mentioned, climate change and the changing in the frequency and severity of natural disasters, from Hurricane Harvey to this cold blast right now to future weather disasters. We know this stuff is coming. What we don't know is whether our leaders are prepared to make the tough political decisions to prepare us for that.
All right.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top story.
Well, there we go. Brainbug asked how many people have died. Let's see. I was just looking at the Guardian site here. It says millions, and this is just literally a 2-second search while the video was running. I just did. Millions without power, and 21 dead as ferocious winter weather sweeps U.S. I saw another article. It's 21 people dead across multiple states. Of course, there's always the problems about how do you count people? How do you, when they find homeless people, are homeless people on the street? Are they all in shelters? I doubt that they are. It is staggering. It is staggering. And I was on Reddit. I first heard about the video on Reddit, and a lot of people from Texas, from southern states, from red states were saying that a lot of conservatives are blaming, get this, renewable energy. They are blaming conservatives want to blame everything except for capitalism, except for deregulation. They're blaming windmills. They're blaming renewable power for the fact that They don't have heat right now. And of course, when you look at the numbers, you have major countries, you have countries, you have U.S. states that rely on wind power, that rely on renewable energy, and they're not having these kind of issues. The problem with Texas isn't the fact that it has too much renewable energy. The idea is that it does crap for infrastructure. A little note about Texas too, I just want to throw in here. As many of you know, all the states of the Union in the United States of America throw their money into a big pot, basically, and into the federal government. And then that money gets dispersed throughout the country. When you look at who actually puts in more money than they get back, there's only a handful of states: Massachusetts, Connecticut, New Jersey, California, I believe California. And these are states that put in more money into the federal government than they get back. Texas happens to put, and this is a statistic I think from 2018, puts in just this much more. It is a net contributor to the country. However, one of the reasons why they do that, why they can do that, is because they don't supply, they ignore infrastructure. They don't do things like helping people out in that state. And so, yes, Texas does contribute more than they get back, but that's only because they treat their people like crap. It's because their infrastructure is crumbling. Well, that's the thing, Brainbot, right? This is the argument that, at least this is from what I saw in the comment section, is that a lot of conservatives are complaining the fact that there's so many wind turbines that that's why they don't have electricity. Texas is covered. Hello, Iron Charrier. I don't know if I said hello to you officially. I know I said hello in the chat, but Texas is covered in the blood of Jesus. Yes, but it doesn't apparently insulate walls. Yeah, you could have Googled, but that's okay. I had the time. The video was running, Brainbug. I didn't mind doing a quick Google search there. So yeah, Texas. Is it a third world? Is it a third world country? I mean, that might be an insult to third world countries, to tell you the truth. And there's something problematic about that term too. But we're going to put a pin on that. The idea that all right, we'll call Texas quickly becoming a failed state, or Texas, the fact that many people are going for well over a day without electricity, is symbolic of Texas sliding into a failed state status. How's that? Well, you know, if you could combine maybe a plump, Jesus with like a plump Buddha, maybe that would be the maybe that would solve the problem right there. Ridiculousness in Texas, and people are suffering, people are dying because of this deregulation of the electrical grid. And once again, as Beto was saying, there's an incentive to create scarcity, because when you have scarcity in any market, the prices go up. Oh yeah, if they seceded, Digital Bookworm, they would not survive that well. They would become a more wretched place than they are now. Well, you see, Phil Lister, well, yes, Norway, for an example, I guess has a lot of, Norway is abundant with energy, not just with its offshore petroleum, but also with its wind turbines too. So is Iowa. So is the state of Iowa. You don't even have to look over to Europe. Iowa has like a ton of wind turbines, and they don't have any issues, or at least as many issues as Texas does. Laughing in disbelief. How do you think Trump would have solved the problem of no electricity in Texas? Well, someone said they would have nuked it, right? Someone from the chat, I forget who it was. Maybe he would have remember that time when Trump said that he was going to nuke the hurricane? Why don't we just throw an atomic bomb in the hurricane? All right. I don't even know what the next story is. I think we have a Trump story. We have a Trump versus Mitch McConnell story coming up soon. Let's see where we are. Oh, here it is. This is the story right here. Trump fires back at McConnell, calling him a dour, sullen, and unsmiling political hack. Unsmiling. What, what a horrible turn. This is what happens when Trump isn't on Twitter, by the way. He has to write legitimate letters now to people just so he can get the public, so he can get into the limelight. So this is the continuing beef between the two wings of the Conservative Party, the two wings of the Republican Party, the Mitch McConnell, quote-unquote, traditional Republicans, and the Trumpists, the brown shirts, the QAnon people, the Proud Boys. So this is the newest salvo. This is from Trump attacking rhetorically Mitch McConnell. All links in the description. Former President Donald Trump fired back at Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell on Tuesday, releasing a scathing statement after McConnell published an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal blaming him for the January 6th riot at the U.S. Capitol. The Republican Party can never be respected or strong with political leaders. Oh man, should I do my Trump voice? The Republican Party. No, I can't even do that voice. I'm going to just roll with this. The Republican Party can never be respected or strong with political leaders like Senator Mitch McConnell at its helm, Trump said in a written statement. McConnell's dedication to business as usual, status quo policies, together with his lack of political insight, wisdom, skill, and personality, has rapidly driven him from majority leader to minority leader, and it will only get worse. It's an interesting spin Donald J. Trump has on how the Republicans lost the Senate. But let's continue. The Democrats and Chuck Schumer play McConnell like a fiddle. They've never had it so good, and they want to keep it that way. We know our America First agenda is a winner, not McConnell's Beltway First agenda or Biden's America Last. Donald J. Trump, he's an evil, evil person, but he just tries to come up with these crazy lines that will resonate with his base, like Biden's America Last agenda and Mitch McConnell's Beltway First agenda. Okay, continuing. Trump said in a statement, adding, Mitch is dour, sullen, and unsmiling. Dour. I wonder if Trump's editor threw that in there. I don't know if Trump knows what dour means. Sullen also. I don't know if Trump knows what that word means. And unsmiling, political hack. And if Republican senators are going to stay with him, they will not win again. He will never do what needs to be done or what is right for our country. Trump also went after McConnell's wife, of course, because that's what he does. Elaine Chao, his own former Secretary of Transportation, insinuating that her family's business interest is conflict of interest. You wouldn't be Donald J. Trump if you didn't throw something racist in there. McConnell's wife is East Asian, and of course Trump would have to throw some kind of racist attack against McConnell's wife because there's an opening, and Donald J. Trump wouldn't be Donald J. Trump if he didn't throw some kind of dog whistle racist comment in that letter. Likewise, McConnell has no credibility on China because of his family's substantial Chinese business holdings. He does nothing on this tremendous economic and military threat. Trump said in a statement without clarifying why, given those circumstances, he had appointed her to his cabinet in the first place. Chao resigned her position 2 days after the Capitol riot, which he called entirely avoidable. Entirely avoidable? Yeah. That's a nice softball way of putting it. In his statement on Tuesday, Trump signaled his intent to press forward with endorsements for candidates who support his America First program or agenda. Where necessary and appropriate, I will back primary rivals who espouse making America great again and our policy of America First, Trump said. We want brilliant, strong, thoughtful, and you don't want any of that. He doesn't blah, blah, blah. Trump doesn't want anyone who's strong or intelligent. He just wants people to do what he does. People who are willing to fall on their swords for the Trump brand. That's what he's looking for. He's looking for foot soldiers. He's not looking for statesmen, stateswomen, statespeople. He's looking for lackeys and lickspittles. Yes, strong language here. Lackeys and lickspittles. Dour, indeed. Donald J. Trump did not write that. He just told someone to write that. Make it coherent. Here are the talking points. Here are some of the buzzwords we're going to use. And he got some lackey. He got someone to write that for him. He is no way that coherent. Well, this is a good point, Iron Jerry dear. Trump probably would have said to burn that sweet Texas oil in your living room to keep warm. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, it would be beautiful if that happened, James Henry. Let the McConnell camp and the Trump camp destroy each other. That would be beautiful. All right, let's see. Oh, Trump does have the best words. He has the best words. His people tell him that he has the best words. Some people are saying that he has the best words. Someday Trump will be sitting in a room looking out the window muttering, I know all the best words, all of them, all the best words. Oh, man. So exactly, Brainbug. You have the nuke. That's the America first. America first. Polar vortexes very far down on the list. You have to nuke them. Though I will say, I'm sleeping easier knowing that Trump is nowhere near the nuclear codes, nowhere near the nuclear football. I am sleeping easier. So that is Donald J. Trump. That is the conflict between the two houses of the Republican Party. I don't know how it's going to shake out. Once again, we were talking about this yesterday, that open primaries, ranked choice voting, these are the ways to prevent lunatics or radicals in the Republican Party from executing their radical agenda, from getting lunatics primarying more moderate candidates. Ranked choice voting, open primaries. That is a way to go forward. There are solutions to the problem of right-wing radicalism. There are solutions to the politicization of evangelicals. There are ways forward. We just need to execute on them. It is not a question of wisdom. It is not a question of knowing. It is a question of virtue. It is the fact of having to do it. If you see anything about open primaries, or you can pressure people to do open primaries in your state, I know the parties do their, regulate their own primaries. But if there's a way to force open primaries and ranked choice voting within a state, and I know that there is with ranked choice voting, we have it now in Massachusetts, I believe, not for the presidency, but for other offices, then that is a way to prevent radicals, lunatics, Trump supporters from taking seats in the Senate or in the House. What's up, Phi? That's right. This is exactly what it is. It is the Great Reset. Puerto Rico statehood. Puerto Rico, we talked about that yesterday. Yeah. There are ways of solving and dealing with Trump and Trumpists and evangelicals. There is a way. We just need to show political will. Our leaders need to show political will. Hopefully they will. All right. What did we cover today? We covered a bunch of things, right? Let me take a look. I don't have my set list. I didn't prepare properly today. So we talked about Trump, visa, fighting Mitch McConnell. We talked about the son of a prominent conservative activist being busted in the Capitol building. We talked about how, it's Ash Wednesday, and how the Irish Church is giving people these little packets of ashes that they can, with the magic words and everything that they can use. We talked about all those things. And let's see, do we have one last funny bit to tie everything up? Let's put a bow on this episode. Let's put a bow on it. And here is something funny, something to propel you through the rest of your day. Just put a smile on your face.
All aboard!
Love those guys. If you're still, The Rage, he does a great show. He does a morning show too at 10:30 to 11:30. You should check him out. The Rage, he's a great guy. We used to do the show together, the morning show with Chris Mallard a couple of months ago, maybe a couple of weeks ago. Time moves so weird during the apocalypse. But the Rage is doing a show at 10:30 today. You should check him out. He does solid material. Good guy. He's got a good heart too. I don't go around promoting other people unless I feel like they have not only do good work, but they have a good heart too. That's more important to me than anything else. So let's see what's going on in the chat before I head out. Rage eat babies, indeed. Yep. Getting money out of politics is a huge problem. I should also say too, most of these videos that I'm doing here, these political videos, these videos on the morning show are going to be demonetized, right? They're just going to be demonetized because of the nature of the content. So if you want to support the show, there are links down there. You can become a patron. You can buy me a cup of coffee. You can buy one of the swag, whatever. But yeah, most of these videos are going to be demonetized, to tell you the truth. I'm not going to stop what I'm doing. I might try to figure my way around the monetization algorithm. But yeah, basically I do this because I like doing it. But, a couple of shekels wouldn't hurt. A couple of shekels. But hey, here's how it is. Am I doing Jenga today at 3 p.m.? Yes, I am. That's what I'm going to be doing, 3 p.m. And I'm going to be dropping that short about Lucian Greaves and how the Satanic Panic started, about the book that inspired or really just triggered the Satanic Panic of the 80s and the 90s. America just seems to have these moral panics every once in a while, and they bubble up, whether it's the Salem witch trials, whether it's McCarthyism during the 50s, or the Satanic of the 80s and the 90s, or the QAnon conspiracy. You can just look at that as just another sign of toxic Christianity and nationalism, just doing horrible things. Oh, boy, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. The Rage eats babies. Indeed. He's a great guy, the Rage. Definitely check out his show. He's always got something going on there. Thanks for your support. Thanks for showing up. We're doing the whole thing tomorrow. We are doing this whole thing tomorrow at 9 a.m. Tomorrow is Thursday, otherwise known as Thursday. But to me, in my heart, in my pagan heart, my neo-pagan heart, it is always going to be Thursday for me. All right. Be strong, everyone. Be strong. Be warm. I'll see you at 3 o'clock for Jenga if you're here. If not, then I'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Epic pose. I don't know. Epic pose. We'll just do